All right, welcome everyone to the 7th annual Alexandria Pride Fair. It is so good to be here with you all today on such a beautiful afternoon. My name is Diana Maurer and I'm the chair of the Alexandria LGBTQ Task Force. The task force has been around since 2007, and during that time we have been working closely with city government to make Alexandria an even more welcoming, even more inclusive, and even more safe place for the LGBTQ community and everyone else in the greater Alexandria area. So we are thrilled to be here today with folks within the LGBTQ community as well as our allies. We are here to say that we see you and we value you, so thank you. I'd also want to thank all the different organizations and all the different people that made today such a huge success. The Safeway Balducci's, Veterinary Emergency Group, and the Delray Community Partnership for sponsoring this year's Pride Festival. So give them a big round of applause. Also want to recognize the mayor, city council members, the city manager, city leadership, commission chairs, and commission members for being here in force. You know, right now, across the country, in different cities and different states, all too often governments are trying to target LGBTQ people for harm and for exclusion rather than inclusion. But we are fortunate to live in a city where leadership stands by everyone in the community and values inclusion and safety for all. So thank you for your support. And I want to give a special thanks to the mayor for your dedication and your service to the city of Alexandria. You've been continually standing up for the LGBTQ community, advocating for inclusion and safety during your time as mayor. So thank you very much. So, on behalf of the City of Alexandria's task force, it is my honor to introduce the mayor, who is going to read this month's Pride Proclamation.
All right, let's see if I can do this without holding it. All right, can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, happy Pride, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, thank you to our great, where'd Diane go? She ran away? Oh, there. Thank you so much for your leadership. Thanks for the work of the task force. Thanks for everything you all are doing. You know, we really appreciate it. I want to especially thank our staff, our great staff team in DCHS and throughout all our city departments who work so hard to make this an accepting community. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And thanks to this weather. Good Lord, this is amazing. This is amazing. It always seems to be a good day on Pride. All right, I want to welcome specifically my colleagues from the City Council. We have our Vice Mayor, Amy Jackson. We have Councilman Kirk McPike. Councilman John Taylor Chapman. Councilmember Sarah Bagley. Councilman Kanika Aguirre. We have from the school board member Jacinta Green. Representing us in Richmond in the State Senate, we have Senator Adam Evan. Who'd I miss?
Got it.
All right. All right. Next year you'll all be elected and we'll introduce you then. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of this event. As you know, we are in a different place than we normally are, and we're going to explain more about why we're in this place in a couple minutes. But we are also just celebrating Alexandria, celebrating the LGBTQ plus community in Alexandria. You know, everyone knows that Pride has a direct linkage to history, and it is history about why we are celebrating in June. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But more than anything, Pride is a celebration. It is a celebration of our community. It is a celebration of the fact that the LGBTQ plus community is an integral part of Alexandria. It is a celebration that the tapestry, the rich tapestry of Alexandria is incomplete without the LGBT plus community of Alexandria. And we celebrate that in Pride, and we celebrate that all year long. But this is Alexandria, and so we got to tell a little bit of history on everything, right? And so we recognize that 38 years ago in this building, the Alexandria City Council actually chose not to include gay and lesbians in our human rights ordinance. And it was 2 years later, 36 years ago, because of advocates and the hard fight throughout our community to change minds, that the Alexandria City Council made Alexandria the very first community in the Commonwealth of Virginia to include gays and lesbians in our human rights ordinance. And that happened from advocacy, including from people who are still here today, still in that fight, and still making sure that we make the good change to include more people in our community. We also recognize the intersectionality of the fight for equality for gays and lesbians, LGBTQ plus community, the intersectionality with the fight for so many others. And that's why 38 years ago, it was the second African-American member of our Alexandria City Council, Nelson Green Sr., who came and testified in City Council and said that the fight for inclusion for LGBTQ plus community was inextricably linked to his own fight for inclusion and history in our city. And it was why our former colleague, Del Pepper, said those 36 years ago that the fight for inclusion for the LGBT plus community was inextricably linked to the discrimination that she, as a woman, had felt earlier in her career as a woman in academia. We know this fight is linked. That's why we've been able to make progress in the city of Alexandria. That's why it's so great that we are celebrating, but we're also acknowledging the history and the fight that has happened for so many decades. I am pleased to read a proclamation on behalf of my colleagues from the City Council, and then we have a ribbon to cut, destroy. We'll talk about that in a second. Whereas in June of 1969, patrons and supporters of the Stonewall Inn in New York City defied an unjust policy and stood up to actively resist the harassment and persecution to which LGBTQ plus people were commonly subjected. And whereas the city of Alexandria is proud to remember inspiring and brave leaders who fought for justice and dignity, as well as the allies who supported them, and celebrate the current leaders forging ahead. And whereas in the spirit of those historic leaders and in continuing to work for equity, the Alexandria LGBTQ plus Task Force provides an inclusive forum where LGBTQ plus people and allies gather quarterly to network, share ideas, and plan training and community events with a membership made up of employees from departments across city government, representatives from community nonprofit organizations, and the Alexandria LGBTQ plus residents. The enduring goal of the task force since 2007 is to create safe and inclusive service provision in the city of Alexandria that affirms a person's sexual orientation and gender identity. And whereas today the rights of the LGBTQ plus people across this nation and world are under relentless attack, members of the LGBTQ plus community, especially people of color and transgender people, continue to face discrimination and cruel, persistent efforts to undermine their human rights. And whereas while in some communities, LGBTQ plus people, particularly transgender youth, are increasingly demeaned, diminished, and targeted by legislation, policy, and action, Alexandria city leaders, employees, and community members support, uplift, and provide inclusive services and a safe, nurturing environment so that LGBTQ plus people can flourish. And whereas for the fourth consecutive year, the city of Alexandria received the maximum possible score of 100 on the 2023 Municipal Equality Index, a national assessment by the Human Rights Campaign of LGBTQ plus equality in municipal policies, laws, and services. Alexandria is one of only 129 communities across the United States to receive the top score. And whereas the city of Alexandria reaffirms our commitment to supporting LGBTQ plus people and strengthening LGBTQ plus rights because they are human rights. Now, therefore, I, Justin M. Wilson, Mayor of the city of Alexandria, Virginia, and on behalf of the Alexandria City Council do hereby recognize June 2024 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the city of Alexandria, and I call this observance the attention of all of our citizens, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Alexandria to be affixed this first day of June 2024. Congratulations. Happy Pride. Thank you so much for everyone who has made this happen. So, we are now going to celebrate something that is new this year, and I want to especially note that this is new because of the leadership of my colleague, Councilman Kirk McPike. And so as I understand this, and I'm incredulous, as I understand this, the members of the Alexandria City Council are going to hold a ribbon across King Street. And a bus is then going to travel at us.
We checked
We checked.
Political
The
opinions
police are here. Everyone, it should be safe. We'll be fine. So we are going to be using one of our brand new wrapped Pride buses from Dash, the best damn bus system in the country. And I want to thank Josh Baker and the Dash leadership for the work that they did to make that happen. And so without further ado, we ask that you gather with us.